So welcome to IGC 1, element 4, which has to do with health and safety monitoring and measurement or measuring. Okay, our learning objective, we're going to be discussing common methods and indicators used to monitor the effectiveness of management system. Explain why and how incidents should be investigated, recorded, and reported. We're going to be explaining what an audit is, and why and how they are used to evaluate a management system. We're going to be explaining why and how regular reviews of health and safety performance are needed. Active and reactive monitoring. For active monitoring, strict, looking at control measures to see if they are correct and being used before accidents are caused. All measures you put in place to ensure before anything goes wrong. That's what has to do with active monitoring. Reactive, we are using accident, incident, and ill health data to highlight areas of concern when things have already gone wrong, when something has happened. So, active has to do can look at proactive, way of doing things, trying to close out holes, close gaps before incident occur. Looking at, when you see any near miss, it has to be investigated and know why it happened. And if you leave it on investigated or reported, it can lead to accident later. So, but if you investigate it and close it out and try to find out why it happened and close that gap, then you're going to prevent major disaster from happening. Having said that, we have to also look. It also measures performance, right? To non-conformance with standards. Example: number of quality of risk assessment against plan. You have risk assessment. Your plan stated with, let's say, 10. You want to see. Now we say we're going to carry out 10 risk assessment. How many did you carry out? Did you carry out 10 or carry out 8? Why did it end 8? What happened? What did you do that could you have done better to achieve 8? Or what were the obstacles, the bottleneck, and all that? Health and safety training schedule. Right? Did we meet our target as per training for the year, for the quarter, for the month, and what have you? Cumulative committee meetings to schedule. Take for instance, we say we have committee meetings monthly. So in a year we have 12. Do you achieve 12? Or if you didn't achieve 12, what would have happened? Why are we not achieving 12? Because we're ensuring that we close holes before incident or accident happen. So we prevent things, are proactive to ensure that things are in order before things begin to go wrong. All right. When you do all these proactive moves, you are ensuring a smooth running system, closing gaps, and ensuring that the workplace is safe. And then workplace inspection to schedule. There are some that are statutory, some that are quarterly, and others planned as stated in your plan. Follow it through, and those inspections are also followed up to ensure that things don't go wrong. So safety inspection, sampling and tour. Safety inspection is examination of workplace statutory, like you see now, like I mentioned earlier. That means it's required by law. Law inspection, like some places, that some of oil and gas companies, DPRO, have their own inspection, which they carry out either quarterly or monthly or annually, and all what have you. Plant and machineries, pre-use check, and what have you, usually done by a line manager or a competent person. Safety sampling, representative sample to judge compliance, less time consuming. And safety tour, a high-profile walk-around inspection in the workplace carried out by a group including senior managers, right, to see firsthand issues that need the attention that needs to be closer. The intention is to interact and be highly visible. Systematic inspection, plants, machineries and vehicles, premises, workplace environment, people, working method and behavior, procedure, looking at safe system of work, permit to work system, and what have you. Procedures, arrangement for active monitoring. Remember our arrangement for active monitoring. Factors to consider when planning for introduction of active monitoring. Type of monitoring that will be required. What is the frequency? How often will we carry it? Is it quarterly? Is it annually? Is it monthly? And all that? Is it bi-monthly? Half yearly? Allocation of responsibilities. Who does what? Who's going to be carrying out those inspections? Competency of the inspector. Are they trained? Does it require a 2 days training or 3 days training, or it just maybe, or a week training? What the YouTube checklist? That checklist has to be designed, structured in accordance with that specific work area. Action planning for problems found. When issues are going to be found out in this inspection, who is going to act on them? How are we going to be closed? How are we going to ensure that they are implemented? Who is responsible for close out and order? Example of inspection system. Bank head office purpose is to monitor health and safety standard. Frequency, do that monthly. Competence, maybe a 1 day course for the person who's going to carry out the inspection. Person responsible, maybe managers at different levels. Inspection checklist, general checklist, tailored if required. Follow-up arrangements, and then action plan. Group exercise. In groups, list the topic heading that should be included on an inspection checklist for use in your workplace. Design a rough format for the inspection checklist. All right, this is just example of what we talked about now. We're going to look at a specific topic. Maybe you say you want to look at inspection of assessments, or maybe JSA and all that, and then that should be included in an inspection checklist for use in your workplace. All right, you want to check if your risk assessment is suitable and sufficient, what criteria it must meet, and if it addressing no specific hazard, and how is a step-by-step plan to reduce risk in the work area and all that, and to ensure that the workplace is safe. And then how you're going to design the rough format for the inspection checklist and all that. Arrangement for workplace inspection. Typical topics in generic inspection checklists like fire safety, housekeeping, environment issues, traffic routes, chemical safety, machinery safety, electrical safety, welfare facilities, as the case may be. All these are typical topics that could be included in that could be captioned for inspection checklist. And then reactive monitoring. Now something has gone wrong. We're looking at accident, incident, e-health, and other unwanted events and situations. Highlight areas of concern. Things that have already gone wrong. Are you seeing that? Measure failures. Looked at what probably systematic failure, management, what management failed to do, and all that. Two methods. Lesson from one specific event. Alright? For example, an accident, and data collected over a period of time. Maybe like we hear of, like every year now, we hear of accident and incident on to the Lab Bridge, and every other year and all that. And then, and most times it involves tanker, and they're looking at, maybe let's say for a period of 6 years, what happened, how often did this thing happen, what specific time of the year it usually happen, what vehicle is involved. Of course, in that area, in that particular incident, look at particular trucks, like PMS truck and all that, or AGO trucks, and this can help you have data for over a period of time. And then you have to also learn specific lessons from such incidents. We know the incident that have occurred there, and how they happened, and how they were handled. Then reactive monitoring. Continue. Data collected about accidents, dangerous occurrences, near misses. Assist in analyzing trends, events over a period of time, maybe health cases. As you know, also we're looking at types of injury, Also look at enforcement action, uh, health cases as the case may be. Then reactive monitoring continue. Lost time accident frequency rate. This is just like a calculation, which says lost number of time accident during a specific period of time times 100,000 and the total number of man hour. Also note that lost time incident does not include first aid. It does not include names. Lost time has to do those times, those incidents that has to do with every incident occurring and a worker gets off work or is not able to put in the normal hours he used to put. Look at restricted workday case, look at medical treatment case, accident, ill health, or what have you. But 8 case and nemesis, they are not to be included in work lost time incident. It's just for knowledge. Investigating, recording, and reporting incidents. As element 4.2. Reason to carry out investigations. Identify immediate root cause. Immediate and root cause. Looking at immediate and root causes. For immediate causes, we look at unsafe acts and unsafe conditions. What probably the worker failed to do, or probably is not doing right, or what another worker did that created an unsafe condition. And the root cause has to do with system, what failure, what happened to the system, or what management failed to do, and all what have you. Prevent reoccurrence, collect and record evidence, legal reasons, of course. The law requires that you must investigate accident. Even if insurance premium cannot even pay your premium except they see your accident investigation. Of course, look at it now. Insurance purposes, staff morale. When you investigate accident, you are showing demonstrating commitment that what happened, what led to it occurring, is going to be taken care of and is going to be identified and closed out. So that will help to build staff morale because anyone knows that it's going to work to get hurt, he will not have joy in going to that work. Of course, again, disciplinary purpose, if it's found that somebody willfully broke procedures and protocols to bring about this accident, looking at accident. Then data gathering, perhaps could also help to identify trend and all that. Type of incident: accidents, near miss, dangerous occurrence, work-related ill health. Accident and unplanned and unwanted event that occur at this whether loss of life, damage to property, and all that. Near miss is an incident that could have led to loss of life, damage to properties, injuries, or what have you. But in this case, it did not lead to it. Dangerous occurrence like earthquake, equipment failure, failure of critical device, disease outbreak, all these have to be reported to the appropriate authorities and all that and duly investigated. Work-related ill health like outbreak of now maybe general disease, say cholera, tuberculosis and all that. Those are had to be or maybe exposure to asbestos that brings about asbestosis and all that. They have to be reported as per law. Accident and unplanned unwanted event, as stated earlier, that leads to injury or damage or loss. Injury, accident where an unplanned unwanted event leads to somebody or a sort of personal injury, e.g., a cut harm. Damage only accidents where an unplanned unwanted event where you have property damage. The name is an unplanned unwanted event that had potential to lead to injury or damage or loss, but did not in fact do so. Types of incident: dangerous occurrence, specific event that has to be reported to the relevant authority and about it statuted by statutory law, like a major gas leak. Work-related ill health, a disease or medical condition that is directly attributed to work, e.g., dermatitis as a result of exposure to skin irritants. Okay. Level of investigation: minimal, immediate, line manager, not excessive time or effort. Low, line manager. Looking at level of investigation now. Who is involved should be involved in the type of investigation and the category of personnel. For low, line manager perhaps some support and more time and effort involved. Then for medium level of investigation, medium managers will support and significant time and effort. High level of investigation has to do probably with probably a serious injury and all that. So high senior management oversight with team-based approach and significant time and effort. Now, group exercise. Discuss the first thing you should do when arriving at an incident scene and the later steps. Consider what type of equipment you may need to assist you. Okay, try your hands on this exercise, looking at your note. Basic investigation procedure: safety of the scene, secure the scene. All right, is the area safe to approach? Because you don't want to be among statistics. You have to, before you try to carry out rescue, ensure that the place area is safe, that there is no immediate danger to the rescuers. Is immediate action needed to eliminate? Is immediate action needed to eliminate danger before casualties are approached? If somebody who is executed, you have to de-energize that whole area before you go to approach, or else you too may be among the statistics. Casualty care, first aid treatment. After you have, ensure that there's no danger, call for help. Fire first aid treatment if you are trained to do so, and then ensure reserve life until experts comes to evacuate the victim to the hospital. Also consider bystanders who may be in shock. You have to ensure that you control that crowd. So basic investigation procedure: gather factual information, analyze the information and draw conclusion. Identify suitable control measures. And step 4 says plan the remedial action, looking at recommendation and all that. So gathering information, secure the scene, right? Identify weaknesses, collect factual information, interview witnesses, and examine documents. Looking at incident, near miss records, looking at trying to get trends and to find out the pattern of this, which things happening as if it happened before and all that. Witness interview technique: have a do it in the quiet room, no distraction. Establish a rapport. This is investigation is carried out. You don't carry it out because we want to ensure we improve the system. We want to ensure that it's not about blaming anybody. We want to ensure this thing does not occur again. Our workers are safe, and we need your cooperation to be able to find out what happened, what we failed to do, or what we need to be doing to prevent this incident does not occur again. Use open questions like who, what, where, when, why, and how, and then keep an open mind. Don't just narrow your mind to one end. Okay, do that. Try to carry out. Say okay, this was caused by X, Y, Z. Doing blame culture. Take notes. Ask for written statements. Thank the witness for granting you that audience to interview them. Then document examination. Company's policy. Looking at the document examination, look at the company policy, what you talked about. In any way, the company policy is it adequate or is not addressing issues and all that. Look at the risk assessment, the JSA and all that. Is it adequate? Is it robust? Is it suitable and sufficient? Training records. Okay, but it's not involved in this accident. Was the person trained? What are the procedure? Or the person needed to refresher training and all that. We are trying to extract what could have possibly lead to an accident. All right, safety system of work, are they adequate? Procedures, permit system, and all that. And then maintenance record: if it's equipment, as the machine be maintained, or if it's a vessel, has it been calibrated? Was it calibrated? Why did it fail? What led to its failure? Was it that it was overdue, or just a certificate has expired and all that? We're trying to examine what contributing factor led to an incident. Previous incident report, looking at trends, sickness and absent records. Step 2, analyzing information, immediate cause, unsafe fact, unsafe condition. I talked about this earlier. Underlying root causes, reason behind the immediate causes. Often failure in management system, no supervision, no PPE provided, no training, no maintenance, no checks or inspection, inadequate or no risk assessment. Now, group exercise. A worker is struck by a load carrier on a pallet by a forklift truck. Outline the possible immediate and underlying causes of the accident. Of course, we talked about immediate cause, looking at unsafe fact, unsafe condition. Underlying cause, we're looking at maybe failure in management system. Management failed to carry out some things. Maybe there's no training procedure, there's no proper PPEs, there's no risk assessment, and all what have you. Now, possible immediate cause: failure to secure pallets, poor position of the truck, close to the pedestrian exit, aggressive braking by the driver. All right, that's an unsafe act. Inattentive pedestrian step onto the path of the forklift is also an unsafe act. Then possible underlying root cause, looking at if probably the driver is not trained, lack of separation of vehicles and pedestrians, there are no barricades, poor driver induction, driver was not well inducted, poor truck maintenance, the truck was not maintained, hence the brake failed, brake is not as active as it should be, and there is no refresher course. Person was trained once and never did not go for any refresher course. So complacency sets in, and using an old knowledge to carry out new way of doing things usually brings about accident. Now, identify suitable control measures for immediate cause: clean up spill, replace missing guard, relocate trailing cable, as the case may be. For the line cause, it may be more difficult. Need to make changes in management system, and that has to do. It has to take time and processes. Planning the remedial action. Dangerous conditions must be dealt with immediately. Interim actions may be possible. Underlying causes will require more complex actions. Will take time, effort, disruption, money, and need for prioritization. So look at recommended action, priority, time scale, and responsible person. Take for instance, introduce induction training for all new drivers. What's the priority? Medium. What's the time scale to carry out this induction training? A month. Who is responsible? The house manager. Recording and reporting requirements. Reporting is the process of informing people that an incident has occurred. It can be intentionally within organization or externally to enforcing authorities or insurance. Why? Because by law you must report some certain incident to regulatory authorities and also insurance, so you can let claims and then you comply with the law looking at regulatory authorities. Recording is the process of documenting events. Now, what sort of things are likely to hinder good accident and near miss reporting? Think about this. Look at what could hinder this. It's also examinable. What can an organization do to make it more likely that incident will be reported? So things that will hinder good accident reporting. Before I go to the next slide, take for example maybe the procedures for reporting are too stringent, that they are ambiguous, cannot be said be followed. Maybe apathy attitude. It's not my duty to carry it out, to do that, to report anything. And then probably management are not committed. Maybe if they do report and the reported issues are not closed out, so it brings about people now being complacent and what have you. So what can you do what can be done to make it more likely? Of course, you encourage people, you have to train people, management has to be committed and what have you. So barriers to reporting: unclear organizational policy, no reporting system in place, overly complicated reporting procedure, talking about excessive paperwork, take too much time, blame culture, apathy, I don't care attitude, lack of training on policy and procedure. Internal reporting will depend on, so for the positive aspect of it, if you have barriers, so you turn all you have here positive. When you have clear original policy, you have there's a reporting system in place. The reporting system is made simple, the procedure is made simple, and there are no necessary paperwork. It does not take time. There are no blame culture. People have a positive note to report as they also see that a responsibility to report accident, no matter how small, because they want to ensure that it is investigated and closed as well, it won't reoccur again. And then you have their training in place for policy and procedure. That's the positive aspect of that question that was asked. How can a position make it more likely than okay? So internal incident reporting will depend on severity, internal and external. Directors, senior managers, human resource managers, health and safety, environmental advisors, and workers representatives as internal. External, looking at family of the maybe casualties, and then external authorities like you know reporting to local authorities, reporting to the press. If there are casualty or major spill, then you also report to insurance companies, public relations advisor, and what have you. Issuing recording an accident book. Minimum standard is the accident book. Of course, these are what contains in that document: name and address of casualty, date and time of incident, location of incident, details of injury, details of treatment given, description of event causing injury, details of any equipment or substances involved, and the witness names and contact details, details of persons completing the record, and then signature. It's just a typical headings in an accident book. A thoroughly reportable event. In some incidents need to be reported to the regulatory body by law. For example, fatality, major injury, dangerous occurrence like disease outbreak, disease, and then lost time injuries. Auditing, that's limit 4.3. Definition, scope, and purpose of auditing. Auditing is the systematic, objective, and critical evaluation of an organization's health and safety management system. I repeat, auditing is a systematic and objective, and critical evaluation of an organizational health and safety management system. So what is the difference between an audit and inspection? This one came out in the last exam, so take note of this. Take note of it. For inspection, checks the workplace, checks records. It's usually quick. It's a low cost exercise because you don't need the expatriates. You use hands from within your organization. May only require basic competence, just maybe 1 day training. It's part of audit. All right. It looks at the physical reality of a workplace. But an audit examines documents, examines procedures, interview workers, verify standards, check the workplace. Can be a long process, usually expensive, usually requires a high level of competence. Audit also use inspection in carrying out its examination, and also look at the management system that lies behind this. Pre-audit preparation, the following should be defined: time scale, how long will this audit take, the scope of the audit, what are the extent and boundaries, what area are we investigating, are we auditing. All right, it should be stated in the scope. And the area and extent of the audit. Who will be required? Technical guy, technical expert, other auditors. All right. And logistics, accommodation, if there are remote areas that how to get there, and all that, and all what have you. What document will be required? During the audit, auditors use 3 methods to gather information: paperwork, review documents, all right, interviews, managers and workers, observe workplaces, equipment, activities, and behavior. During the audit, typical records, document examined during an audit, health and safety policy, risk assessment and safe system of work, training records, minutes of safety committee meetings, maintenance records and details of failures, records of health and safety monitoring activities, tours, inspection and survey, accident investigation reporting and data, including near miss information, emergency arrangements, and maybe medivac, drills, fire, and what have you. Inspection reports from insurance companies. All right, output from regulators' visits, e.g., visitors visit reports, enforcement actions, and all that. Records of workers' complaints. They check all this. Probably there's issues that workers have been complaining about. They want to see how management react to those complaints, concerns. If they close them out, if they give them attention, or they just allow them to just lie low like that, because they want to test for the commitment of management. At the end of the audit, usually hold the closeout meeting, follow up with a written report. It is the responsibility of the management at all levels to ensure recommendations for the improvement are communicated and implemented. Audit may be necessary for certification, e.g., to ISO 5001, which is an 2018 is an update on OSHA 18001. 2007. Now, group exercise. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of external and internal audit. And this is the answer. For external and internal audits, advantages is an independent of any internal influence. No internal person can influence it. Of course, it requires a fresh pair of eyes, may have wider experience of different types of workplace. Recommendations often carries more weight because these are decisions taken by experts. Disadvantages may be expensive because it's time consuming and may not understand the business, so make impartial suggestion. If the auditor does not understand the business, you can make impractical suggestion. And then may intimidate workers so to get incomplete evidence. If you intimidate workers, they see that your mission is coming to maybe indict them and all that, you may not get true picture of what is on ground, and that audit may not be be successful at the end of the day. Now for internal audits, it's less expensive because you're using internal hands. Auditors already know this business, so what can be realistically achieved, right? They know what can be realistically achieved. Then improve ownership of issues found, because when you have people in a region carry out some certain things, you see at their own and they tend to support it. It also builds competence internally. What is the advantage is that auditors may not notice certain issues. Auditors may not have good knowledge of industry or legal standard, because the level of which they are exposed to training, that's where they can get to. Auditors may not possess auditing skills, may need their training. So all of them may not have attained this international certification as per has to do with auditing. Auditors are not independent, so may be subject to internal influence. So reviewing the health and safety performance. Just remember our element of health and safety management system. We're under review now. We're looking at, if you look at that review, looking at performance evaluation, reviewing health and safety performance. Purpose of regular review: full management system review by board, e.g. annually. Management team review every quarter to get fit to full review. And departmental review monthly by line manager to ensure that they are on track, assessing opportunities for improvement and needs for change. Purpose of regular review: reviewing performance is an essential part of health and safety management system. Looking at where they are, if not, why not? Looking at, okay, why if they are on target, if not, why are they not on target? What they have done, or what do they need to do, all right, to have a change? Okay, e.g., aim to reduce lost time incident by 5%. Target has been met. Set a new target of another 5% for next year. What active and reactive measurements of health and safety performance would need to be reviewed annually? That's another assignment you need to look at. Issues to be considered in review: legal compliance. How are we going to comply with the laws of the land in carrying out our business? Also, the incident data. What are we do have correct data? Are they up to date? Inspections, survey, tours, and sample, absence and sickness data, audit reports, achievement of objectives, enforcement actions. Have there been any action by enforcement authorities? Previous management reviews. Do we have records of all that? Legal and best practice developments. Output from reviews. Records of reviews should be retained. Demonstrate compliance with MHSWR. Results may have to be reported to shareholders. So this is a regulatory body, right? The aim is continual improvement. Senior managers review performance and set targets for the organization. Middle managers review performance and set targets for their department. Junior managers review local performance and set targets for their local areas. Now, in summary, in this element we have outlined the difference between active and reactive monitoring and active and reactive monitoring methods. We've also explained the purpose of and the procedure for investigating accidents and requirement for recording and reporting. We've also considered the reason for accident investigation. We've described the requirement of read-up, reporting of injuries, diseases, and dangerous occurrence regulation, and the type of incident that have to be reported to the enforcing authorities. Also describe the purpose of and the procedure for health and safety auditing. Also explain the purpose of and procedure for regular reviews of health and safety management and health and safety performance. We'll come to the end of this element 4, and we'll be looking at the risk assessment in the next class. Thank you.